But what we're going to do now is we're going to shift to focus. We're still going to be talking about youth, and we have Antonio Hernandez in his 6th year. He's the first national president of the 150,000 strong young organization, Health Occupation Students of America, Future Health Professionals. Antonio is a state and national gold medalist in medical reading. His leadership journey began with 2 years as president of the Dozier Libby Medical High School, HOSA chapter, taking him to the leadership of the California as state president. He is a sophomore. Everybody knows how old that is, right? A sophomore at Stanford University, pursuing a degree in economics while on the pre-med track. He hopes to become a medical malpractice lawyer with a strong medical background. The phenomenal growth of his organization has pushed Antonio to strive to reach his fullest potential. He loves the knowledge that each HOSA member possesses and wants to expand the networking opportunities. Is he in the right place today?
Woo-hoo!
Oh my. I don't know how he got this gig, but he's a lucky guy. He wants to have available members come in order to create and expand the resource of HOSA knowledge. From HOSA to his other passions in life, Antonio loves a quote from his elementary school teacher. Good isn't enough. Good enough isn't. Let's bring up Antonio Hernandez of the Health Occupation Students of America. And I got to sit next to him on the same chair. And where's my photographer? Mr. Dahl? Photo, please, of this moment. Yes. This is a young man that is changing the world, and we want to hear all about it. Go for it.
So again, my name is Antonio Hernandez. I'm currently serving as national president of HOSA, Future Health Professionals. So HOSA is a student-led organization. It's existed since 1976. It's for high school and collegiate and post-secondary students, and it's for anyone that's really interested in a career in health, not just what you typically think of doctors and nurses. And so to kind of give you an overview of how the organization kind of works. So the national organization kind of oversees all these state organizations, and they're each divided. And so, and then within the states, there's clubs, chapters in each high school or college. And one of the big cornerstones, capstone things that HOSA does is they do these competitive events at these state and national conferences. And students are able to compete in things like leadership skills and medical-related events. So it's kind of, HOSA's like a two-pronged piece. It's leadership and then the skills that you need for a career in health. So we have 56 competitive events. Some of them include medical reading, like I did, first aid CPR. We have a number of knowledge tests, and so what you do in these competitive events really varies depending on what the event is. So there's things like forensic medicine, there's things like job seeking skills, extemporaneous speaking. So it's all about preparing these students for careers in health or pursuing something in health. And we realize that leadership is really one of the key pieces that students need if they're going to pursue a career in health or really a career in anything. Leadership is something that's really valuable. So I think my journey in HOSA, so I joined HOSA when I was a freshman in high school. And so what I like to tell members, a little quick story, especially now that I'm the national president. So the first time I joined HOSA, I had no idea what it was. I went to a school called Dozier Libby Medical High School. It's about 2 hours away from here in Antioch. And so I was part of the first graduating class there. And so the only organization we had was HOSA because we had an advisor who previously had a HOSA chapter that just now started teaching there. And so I just joined it because it was the only thing to join. And then my friends all told me, hey, you should be on the officer board for this new organization. I'm like, sure, I'll do that. And so I ran to be chapter president, and so I bombed my speech pretty bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. And then later my friends told me that they knew the amount of votes. It was about 100 member people who got to vote, and they're like, yeah, it was a really big landslide. Like, I could count the votes that you got on one hand. And so, yeah, I lost pretty bad. I I was pretty nervous back then. And so the very first time I tried to run for a leadership position within this organization, I lost, like flat out. And so I like to tell members about that. And so, so HOSA's really, it's a journey about developing these soft skills and instilling the future healthcare leaders with these soft skills. So within, it kind of trickles down and it becomes a lot more flexible to what people can do as you kind of go down the different levels. The national organization, which I'm a part of, supports the state organization. So members are able to join the national organization for $10 dues, and then we provide them with all these materials completely for free. And the great thing about HOSA is that it is a curricular organization. So the different materials that we provide, the competitive events, are found in schools. Where I went to school, teachers took these rubrics for the competitive events, and those were our assignments. And in many schools, that's what happens all over the nation. So this organization is really integrated into the school type of experience. And so I kind of want to take more time to kind of get questions from you guys as to what you want to know more about this organization, more about what it does.
And in fact, we have a little template that I'm going to walk you through. So as you do that, just to guide this conversation, what would you say are the aspirations?
So HOSA is really about building more compassionate and a better prepared community of health professionals.
Awesome. And what are the challenges to that?
The challenges to that is, at one level it's getting awareness and making sure that students know that this opportunity exists.
So Antonio, I have a question for you. So you're talking about leadership.
Yeah.
And were you here yesterday?
Yes.
So we heard from Kimberly, for example, this idea that what you really want is a room full of eagles as leaders, but they're working together. They're flocking, which you don't normally do with eagles, right? And so the notion of leadership is important, but it's important also to develop this notion that leaders are not necessarily standing out as individuals, but rather working together to achieve some positive end.
Yeah.
That dovetails with what John Madison talked to us yesterday about, that the biggest failure in our health system is the fact that doctors don't really care about wellness on the level of people being happy and healthy sort of as a society. They're more interested in they're like mechanics, right? They're solving a medical problem by fixing it. I'm wondering if you guys are up to date in this, or if you're really more at the level of, the old-fashioned concept that we're going to stand out as a group. What are you thinking along these lines?
Yeah, and I'm gonna guide that because I think that fits really well. I have a sense that you actually have an answer to that, and that it's part of the supports. That because what Jonathan's talking about that was then, the whole doctor thing. I don't get that from you, and I don't get that from the whole HOSA energy. No. So I would ask that you guide that through looking at that as a support, and then answer the question in that vein.
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Okay.
So one of the challenges in communicating HOSA is that it's really difficult to explain, and it's something that's a lot. People say that you catch HOSA fever when you attend these conferences, because I believe that. Within this organization, leadership is a lot like you were talking about, that it's everyone's kind of got an ego. Everyone feels that they are in a leadership position, not necessarily that they have a title associated with that. People feel very proactive in what they're doing. And I definitely, the real big thing about HOSA is we're definitely less focused on the traditional doctors and nurses. We have a lot of big focus on allied health and alternative type of medicine and all these other different aspects that exist in medicine. Tell them about
the pillowcase teeth.
Yeah. So one of the competitive events that students use is there's something called health education, where students put together a health plan, a lesson plan to present to elementary school students of a topic of their choosing. And so one of the great examples that really loves to be mentioned is that we had this group of students that wanted to teach kids how to floss their teeth and to be really more interested with that. So what they did is they brought a bunch of pillows, and they had these pillowcases, and they just had the students like shimmy the pillowcases all throughout, and the students become very engaged with this. The kids in elementary school, they love it because it's people that are, you know, just a little bit older than them teaching about them, showing them that, you know, they should care about their health.
Okay, I have to speak.
Yeah.
I was the judge for that thing.
Yeah.
And you should have seen the kids telling this story, the high school, they doubled up laughing. They couldn't actually tell the story. They were just shimmying and laughing. And they had so much fun doing this. I caught HOSA fever as a judge for health education. They are looking for judges.
All the
to
time.
Sign up.
All the time.
It will be the best experience of your lifetime.
Yeah.
And if you're interested, go ahead and raise your hand. We're kind of calling out and declaring.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know you existed. This is a fabulous, fabulous discovery.
Absolutely. So I definitely encourage you to. We have upcoming. The California is having their state leadership conference from March 24th to April 1st. So if you're interested in being a judge, I'm 100% sure that all of you there's an event there that I know you're interested in. I am 100% sure about that.